Have you ever shared an idea in a meeting, only to watch it drift by unnoticed until someone else repeats it, and suddenly, everyone's paying attention? It's a frustrating experience, right? Almost like you're there, but somehow invisible. Most of us have been in that situation. And it's easy to chalk it up to bad luck, or maybe just louder personalities in the room. But what if the real reason is something more subtle, small habits in the way we communicate that quietly chip away at our authority, even when our ideas are solid? Here's the thing, authority isn't just about what you know, or how hard you work. It's about how you show up, how you speak, and the signals you send, often without even realizing it. Today, we're going to break down the 5 silent killers of authority that almost everyone falls into at some point. And if you stick around until the end, I'll share a mindset shift that can instantly change the way people respond to you. Let's start with a scenario. Imagine you're working hard, delivering results, but you still see someone else get the promotion you wanted. Or maybe you share a genuinely good idea in a group, but it gets brushed aside while someone less qualified gets all the credit. Those moments sting not just because they're unfair, but because they reveal something important. Authority shapes how others treat us, whether we realize it or not. Without authority, your voice can fade into the background. You might find yourself overlooked in meetings, left out of important conversations, or even struggling to set boundaries in your personal life. And the cost isn't just professional, it's emotional, too. Over time, being ignored can chip away at your confidence and motivation. The hardest part? Most people never realize what's holding them back. They keep working harder, hoping someone will notice, while the real issue goes unaddressed. Authority isn't about being bossy or loud, it's about being heard, respected, and trusted. If you don't master it, you risk staying invisible, no matter how much you deserve to be seen. That's why understanding these authority killers is so important, because the stakes are higher than you might think. Let's dive into the first silent killer of authority, weak language. Think about how often you hear phrases like, "I just wanted to say," "maybe we could try," or, "I think this might work." These words sound polite, but they quietly signal uncertainty. They invite others to question your ideas even when you're confident about them. Picture 2 people making the same suggestion. One says, "I think maybe we should consider a different approach." The other says, "Let's try a different approach." Which one sounds more confident? The difference is subtle, but it's powerful. When you hedge your statements with words like just, maybe, or I think, you're almost asking for permission to speak. You're telling people you're not sure even if you are. Over time, this erodes your authority and makes it easier for others to dismiss your input. So, what's the fix? Start by noticing these words in your own speech. Practice replacing them with clear, direct language. Instead of, "I just wanted to check in," say, "I'm checking in." Instead of, "Maybe we could, try, let's." It might feel bold at first, but confident language isn't about being rude or pushy, it's about owning your ideas. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And you'll notice that others start to listen more closely. Now, language is just one piece of the authority puzzle. Your body is sending signals, too, whether you realize it or not. Let's talk about the second authority killer, poor body language. You can say all the right words, but if your body language tells a different story, people will believe what they see, not what they hear. Picture someone slouched in their chair, arms crossed, eyes darting away during a conversation. Even if their words are confident, their posture says otherwise. Research shows that nonverbal cues make up a huge part of how we're perceived. Some studies suggest as much as 55% of communication is body language. Think about the difference between a leader who stands tall, makes steady eye contact, and gestures with purpose, versus someone who fidgets, looks down, or shrinks into themselves. The first commands attention and respect. The second tends to fade into the background. Poor body language doesn't just undermine your authority, it can actually make people doubt your competence, even if you're highly skilled. The good news? You can train yourself to project confidence physically. Start by uncrossing your arms, sitting or standing up straight, and making eye contact when you speak. Use open gestures and try to avoid fidgeting. These small adjustments send a powerful message. You believe in yourself and others should, too. Remember, authority is a full-body experience. Your words and your presence need to work together. Next, let's look at a mistake that's just as subtle, but equally damaging: over-explaining and justifying your ideas. Have you ever caught yourself rambling on, piling up reasons for your idea, hoping to convince everyone it's valid? Over-explaining is a common trap, and it actually signals insecurity, not expertise. When you feel the need to justify every detail, it's almost like you're asking for permission or bracing for someone to shoot your idea down. Imagine 2 people presenting a proposal. One says, "I think we should try this approach because it worked before, and I did some research, and I know it's a bit different, but I really believe it could help, and if not, we can always go back." The other simply states, "Let's try this approach. Here's why it works." The difference is striking. The first sounds unsure, almost apologetic, while the second projects quiet confidence. The key is to trust your own judgment and let your ideas stand on their own. Practice stating your point clearly, then stop. If someone wants more information, they'll ask. This doesn't mean being stubborn or closed off, it means respecting your own expertise. Conciseness is powerful. It shows you believe in what you're saying, and it invites others to do the same. So, remember, authority isn't about convincing everyone, it's about communicating with clarity and conviction. Now, let's move to the fourth silent killer: inconsistent tone and delivery. Even the best ideas can fall flat if your tone and delivery don't match your message. Think about someone who ends every sentence with an upward inflection, turning statements into questions. Like, "We should move forward with this?" Or someone who peppers their speech with nervous laughter or apologetic tones. These habits quietly signal doubt, making it hard for others to take you seriously. Authority is communicated not just by what you say, but by how you say it. A steady, even tone projects confidence and helps people trust your words. To develop this, practice speaking in clear, complete sentences, and avoid trailing off or adding unnecessary qualifiers. You might even try recording yourself and listening for up talk or a wavering pitch. Replace nervous laughter with a pause, and let silence emphasize your point. For example, instead of, "I guess we could try this, haha, if that's okay?" say, "Let's try this approach." The difference is immediate and powerful. As you refine your delivery, you'll notice people respond with more attention and respect. Next, let's tackle a mistake that's often overlooked but can quietly erode your authority over time: avoiding difficult conversations. It's tempting to sidestep uncomfortable topics, hoping issues will just resolve themselves or fade away. But every time you avoid a difficult conversation, whether it's giving feedback, addressing a conflict, or setting a boundary, you send a subtle message that you're unwilling to lead. Over time, this erodes respect and authority, both at work and in your personal life. People notice when you dodge tough subjects, and it can make you seem passive or unreliable. The truth is, authority isn't about being liked all the time. It's about being respected for your honesty and courage. The key is to approach these conversations with empathy and firmness. Start by acknowledging the other person's perspective, then clearly state your own needs or concerns. Use I statements to avoid sounding accusatory, and stay calm even if emotions run high. For example, "I've noticed some tension in our team meetings, and I'd like to talk about how we can work better together." Facing issues directly, rather than avoiding them, builds trust and shows you're willing to do what's necessary, even when it's hard. Now, let's look at some real-life examples of people who turned these mistakes around and transformed their authority. Consider Sarah, a talented project manager who always felt overlooked in meetings. She realized she was constantly hedging her ideas with phrases like "I think" and "maybe." After consciously shifting to more direct language and sitting up straighter, she noticed her colleagues started listening and even seeking her input. Then there's Marcus, who used to avoid giving feedback to his team, fearing conflict. When he learned to approach tough conversations with empathy and clarity, not only did his team's performance improve, but they also began to respect him more as a leader. Finally, Priya struggled with nervous laughter and up talk, which made her seem unsure. By practicing a steady tone and pausing instead of laughing, she found her presentations had more impact. These stories show that authority isn't a fixed trait, it's a skill you can build. Small changes can lead to big results, and anyone can turn things around. Once you've mastered the basics, subtle techniques can elevate your authority even further. For example, using strategic silence, pausing after you speak, gives your words weight and signals confidence. Power pauses during conversations can make people lean in and pay closer attention. But remember, authority isn't about dominating others. Overcompensating with arrogance or aggression backfires, making you seem insecure rather than strong. True authority is calm, measured, and respectful. The most influential people know when to speak, when to listen, and how to balance confidence with humility. At the heart of true authority is a simple but powerful belief: you are worthy of respect. This mindset shift changes everything. When you genuinely see yourself as someone whose ideas matter, your language becomes more direct, your body language more assured, and your delivery more confident. You stop over-explaining because you trust your own judgment. You face difficult conversations head-on because you know your perspective is valuable. Every authority-boosting skill we've discussed, clear language, strong posture, steady tone, and courageous honesty, flows naturally from this inner conviction. The most respected leaders aren't perfect, but they carry themselves with a quiet certainty that invites others to listen. If you struggle with self-doubt, start by reminding yourself daily that your voice deserves to be heard. Practice these skills not just to impress others, but to reinforce your own sense of worth. When you believe in yourself, others will too. This is the foundation of lasting authority. So, to recap, we've covered the 5 communication mistakes that quietly kill your authority: weak language, poor body language, over-explaining, inconsistent tone, and avoiding tough conversations. Each one can be fixed with small, intentional changes. Speak directly, stand tall, be concise, steady your tone, and face issues head-on. Take a moment to reflect. Which mistake do you recognize in yourself? Choose just one to work on today, and notice how people respond differently. Authority isn't reserved for a select few, it's a skill anyone can build, starting now. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more practical tips and real-life strategies to boost your confidence, social skills, and emotional resilience. Your transformation starts with a single step, and you're already on your way.